Hi, welcome to Boardman Outlook. I'm trustee Tom Costello with Larry Moliterno. Our third trustee, Brad Calhoun, couldn't be with us today because he had a work obligation. So we have a very special guest, Krista Benison, our Director of Zoning and Planning. Krista, we thought coming into the spring it would be a perfect time to talk about what your department does and what some of your plans are.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's I think exciting, but we're coming up on a very busy time for the zoning department. The main things that the zoning department does is we really look at, zoning regulates the use and building of regulates the use of land and what can be built there. And then we're also a home rule township, so we can look at things like high grass, peeling paint, and deal with those issues. So a lot of the things that come up in the spring are the high grass, the weeds start to grow. A lot of the issues that maybe the snow covered, such as some deferred maintenance on homes, start to come up. And that's when we get a lot of complaints, and we try to really be proactive in taking care of those. So if anyone has a complaint, what they can do is they can either email our office at boardmantwp.com, or you can call in a complaint. It's 330-726-4181. And the mainly thing we need to know when you're doing that is we need the address of the property, or at least a defining factor, like if you have an intersection or something that can help us. And what we do is we take down the complaint. A field inspector usually goes out within a day or two, so it's pretty quick. And once we verify that complaint, we send a letter notifying the homeowner, and if there's a renter, what the issue is and how they can address it. Usually they have about at least 14 days to remedy the issue. We go back out and recheck it and see if it has or hasn't been taken care of. If it has, we just dismiss it, but if not, we do follow-up letters. So the process can take several weeks.
I think that's something that people don't understand. They think that they're going to make a phone call and then, in 20 minutes we're going to be out there and take care of it. But, there is due process because we have to be respectful to those homeowners also.
Right.
Yeah, we can't just go out and do it because the homeowners have rights as well. So same with high grass. I think people expect you to go out and cut it that week. We send a letter notifying them that they have 7 days to cut the grass. And then we go out and verify that the grass still is long and hasn't been cut. And then we have to do a contract and someone goes out. So it can take up to 2 to 3 weeks before the grass actually gets cut. And I know that, if you're living beside it, can feel like forever.
Right.
But like you said, we have to allow the homeowner a chance to do it. They have rights just as well as anyone else.
Right. I guess I'd like to interject also. All calls are anonymous.
Correct, yeah. So we don't keep records, and we would never give out any information.
So if we go out to look at a piece of property and want to say, well, that neighbor over there is who reported you, we don't need those types of issues. So if you do have a concern, call.
Well, and with the number of homes in Boardman, we don't have the staff to just go driving street by street every day looking for properties. We really do rely on people making those phone calls.
Right now we are mainly complaint driven.
Yes.
So that's something that we're looking forward to in the future. Even this summer is being able to do more neighborhood sweeps for property maintenance issues, and really look at issues such as just the deferred maintenance, high grass, and be more proactive. But right now it is mainly complaint driven, so we really need people to call, just give us the address and the issue, or I encourage people to do the website too, because that makes it very quick, and then we get that out just as quickly.
Well, I know one of the things that we've been working on for quite a long time now is working with landlords, because there's a lot more rental properties in Boardman, and how do we maintain those properties? And we've done some things, and actually we've listened to a lot of landlords. We've listened to the good landlords who appreciate owning property in Boardman and renting out in Boardman, and renters who appreciate renting in Boardman. And we're trying to make sure that we have some involvement in making sure that those properties are kept up appropriately. And I know that that's something that we took on, and it's been a challenge. I mean, it's been court challenged and some other things, but we believe that's the right thing to do, to make sure. And this is not about going out and giving landlords a hard time. It's really about making sure we maintain property values in Boardman for all of us, including the landlords.
Right. There's a lot of homes that have become rental properties, and sometimes those folks, they move out of the area. So they're not there necessarily maintaining that property or looking at it or concerned about it. We want everybody in Boardman to feel that, it is a good place to call home.
The other thing, Krista, I get asked a lot. People talk about the businesses that come into Boardman. And maybe you could just take a minute and explain we're fairly limited into what control we can have over the type of businesses that come into our community.
Yeah, what we do, I think the township's done a great job at being very attractive and friendly to businesses. But you're right, as far as what can come in, what we do is our zoning code says, for different commercial areas, for industrial areas, here are the types of businesses that we allow. It could be anything from a restaurant to retail to doctor's offices. And so if someone's looking to come in to the township and they call me and say, I'm looking at this business or this location, what we do is I look in the zoning code and I say, all right, you're allowed. Sometimes there's special considerations that they have to meet to be able to come in to make sure we're protecting the neighborhoods and making sure it's the type of business. But as long as it fits into what's allowed, there's, that they're allowed to be there. We can't say, no, we already have too many car washes. We don't think we want one. We would rather have, a coffee shop there. That's not something that the township can control. What we can set is what we allow there, but then it's up to any business owner to pick what type of establishment they want.
And we are encouraged because I think we are hearing a lot, about businesses who are looking very hard at Boardman and considering moving in. And I know it's difficult because a lot of things are premature and we can't discuss it because sometimes the deals fall through and they don't happen. But is it fair to say that there's a lot of interest in Boardman right now?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a very exciting time. There's a lot of interest. Yeah, there's a lot of, I get quite a few phone calls of things that are coming up that, like you said, you can't discuss because they're still happening. But there's a lot that's going to be happening. I think we're seeing a lot of interest in building new buildings, but also looking into some of the existing plazas. And businesses, I think, are excited to be here. The township's a great place to do business. There's, I think, a lot of great access. There's great residents. So we're seeing a lot of interest. And, hopefully, one thing fire department too is looking to make sure that we're very clear about what the process is and helping people come in and understanding what they need to do so that I think that's a part of what makes it attractive to come in is that, we have a very clear process and they know what they need and just be encouraging. But
that's a very good point that people, I'm sure, a lot of people aren't aware of is that you work very closely with our fire department, our prevention team to make sure that they're doing the inspections and making sure that, that we give advice to businesses that are moving into the community.
Yeah, we work with all the departments to really make sure it's a clear process and people know what to expect.
Well, we've heard people say, well, Boardman's a mature community, and we are a mature community, but we're in a phase right now where we're seeing a lot of redevelopment and repurposing of property, and that is exciting, and we have 42,000 residents in Boardman, but our tax base is almost evenly split between residential and commercial. And since Larry and Brad and I have been together, one of our themes has always been we're going to protect the integrity of our neighborhoods. And we appreciate the job that you and your staff do to work very hard at that.
Yeah, one thing we're looking at, is very hard to make sure the integrity of the neighborhood stays protected, that the housing values stay up, that people feel like that they are encouraged to put money back into their homes because they know that we're making sure that their neighbors' homes are also all kept up. And then looking at what types of businesses are going in and also how we can be attractive to new businesses.
It's a great how we balance that between the neighborhoods and the businesses. And I know we work closely with the County Land Bank, and there's some opportunities coming up, hopefully for us to do a few demos on some homes in Boardman that are ready for that. But I think it's great, and I think one of the reasons why we appreciate having you here at the township is what your experience was in the past, working over, more in Summit County in that area. Is it's not just about enforcement, code enforcement. It's about how do we have a vision into the future? How do we, as Tom said, how do we redevelop parts of our community? And I think that we've had lots of great discussions, and we've had an opportunity to see some other communities who've done some very creative things. And I've always felt like, for as much as we're so proud of the history in Boardman, we have to talk about the history. Sometimes it's just as fun to talk about how exciting the future could be.
Yeah, I think we're really excited to be, we're really just starting kind of looking at what the strategic plans, for the department, what we can be doing. Some of those really, I think, are being more proactive on the targeting of looking at neighborhoods, but also collecting data. We did a vacant property survey. So we know the conditions of the vacant properties. Really starting to work on neighborhood plans where we know what's going on bad, but also what are the desires of the neighborhoods, what the residents want, and how we can really try to help that. Looking at some of the corridors and doing, proactive planning to really see what we can do to help clean those up, attract businesses, infrastructure improvements, and really look at, you said, kind of repurposing some of those either buildings or areas that may have been developed 40, 50 years ago, but that still have some of that character and the building structure that's there that could really, I think, be exciting and be what people are looking for now and be a nice alternative to some of the other commercial that we have.
And I know we talked about how you work with the fire department, and you mentioned you work with all the departments. And I think the other interesting relationship is with the police department, because sometimes people will call and make a complaint to zoning, and we'll look at it and say, that's really a police issue. And I know that we do have occasionally properties in our township that we're not proud of the activities that go on there, and then we have to get very forceful with making sure people know that kind of stuff's not tolerated in our community. And I know you work with the police department on those kind of issues.
Yeah, we work pretty closely with them on from small things. If someone's parking on the grass, they can feel free to call zoning, but we'll send them over to the dispatch because they're the ones who actually can go out and ticket. That's not a power that we have. So there's certain issues like that where it's, they directly are kind of the enforcement arm of something that's in the code. But yeah, if there's a house that's, has maybe particular issues, we kind of hopefully target it from all angles. We'll look at it from zoning, talk to them about what they can do from their patrol side and other things that they look at. So I think we've done a nice job of really, working together to address issues from all points.
Yeah. Krista, one of the things that was so interesting to the board when you joined us was your background in planning and development. And we talk about the redevelopment, repurposing. I think the board is aware of, you're working on some plans now, aren't you, that hopefully will help us go forward with some of those ideas. What can you share with us?
So we're just in the very beginning stages of a lot of this. But I think, we're very excited. One of the areas that really has kind of come to the forefront is the North Market Street corridor. And I think there's, a lot of things that are really going for that. There's great neighborhoods on either side of it. There's active neighborhood groups. So there's people already that we can build off of that have great ideas and that are already very engaged in the community. That area too has a lot of the kind of historic built environment where it does have some buildings up to the street, buildings that could be more mixed use. So when we look at things like how to make the neighborhoods more walkable or allow people to maybe walk to Handles or walk to a coffee shop, attract businesses that are that neighborhood scale, but that really might create a more kind of that mixed use, walkable neighborhood feel. It's also adjacent to Mill Creek Park. So there's a lot of assets right there. So, I think that's exciting because we're really starting to, I think this, at this summer and this year, build momentum and really do planning and neighborhood engagement in that area. And I think that could really be one of those areas that, in 5 years we look and we say, wow, this is a fantastic neighborhood. And it kind of starts right now with just, getting the basics and, just starting to work.
It's exciting. And I know that when Tom and I and Brad, we got together, one of the things that we heard from people is that they wanted transparency and that they felt like they wanted to be listened to. And we were frustrated because, we have our township meetings twice a month and we don't get a whole lot of people to show up to those. And I understand that. So what we started doing is going out into the neighborhoods. And not only that, I think since we've been together, we've encouraged so many different neighborhood groups to come together.
Yes.
And we attend a lot of those meetings. There's somebody from the administration, whether it's one of the trustees or administrator or zoning, we're always at those meetings listening to the folks. And a lot of the great things that I think we've done since we've been together have come from a lot of things that we've learned from talking to the residents. And that's, to me, is a perfect partnership that we now have. And I think we really want to encourage people, if you have ideas, hey, you know what, even if you've been somewhere and you saw something, hey, that's really cool, I'm going to call the zoning department and let them know about it. We want to hear those kind of things.
Yeah, because I think part of it is getting the information, whether it's as we start doing neighborhood plans, I think that's a great way for people to get involved. But yeah, also getting the ideas to you. So as the elected officials, so that, what kinds of things do people want to see in the neighborhood or, in the business or, in the commercial areas. But getting those ideas, like you said, you travel and you see all these different things. Maybe there's some things we can do and others that might be a little more challenging. But there's a lot, I think, that we can do and bring to Boardman and offer our residents in the region.
Well, one of the things we've done is we've tried to work with all the other business and governmental entities in the community. I mean, our partnership with Austintown and Canfield when it came to the water situation, our leadership with the 911, this North Market Street Boardman initiative, we're going to reach out to the city. We're going to reach out to the county and other stakeholders. And Larry, you're so right. The neighbors need to be an active part of this. But you and I were recently in some meetings in Columbus, and just north of downtown Columbus, walking distance. Beautiful. What they've done with that area is unbelievable, and that mixed purpose. Christy, you can explain it to us, but we walked it and saw it. And
yeah, and
that's exciting. That's neat. I'd love to see that at the north end of our community.
Yeah, I think what we're really looking at is, even if it's, we start looking at like a couple block area and someplace where you can sit. It's hard to describe because when you're there, it's fun. When you can park and you walk, maybe you have dinner, and then you walk across the street and get ice cream, and then you kind of walk back to the car and you're window shopping and you're just out and about. So I think there is a lot of things that we can do, and we can have that here.
Yes.
But no, I think it's exciting, and that's something I think we'll be working towards this summer.
Well, we've got some spots where we can have some green area also, and we all want more green area. And we got the spot on Market Street where the hotel is that we tore down a few years back, and may have some other opportunities to provide green space so that when the people are there, also if they want to sit in a park-like setting, it's available right there on Market Street. Who would think it?
Yeah, because I was just going to say, there's things that I think that are also exciting. There's the big scale development, really creating the plans to attract, this type of business, and, really working to rehab buildings. So sort of like is the big, but there's also like on lots like that, there's easier ideas that we could do to say, have kind of pop-up parks, or, maybe we have movies there once a month, or, things that we could do that are lower cost, that are easy to do now, that can, provide some of those amenities to the township.
Great. And I know that you're going to be talking to the trustees in a more public setting, I think, very soon. And we'll welcome people to come in and listen to what some of your ideas are for the future. And we just want to ask people, let's not limit ourselves. Let's think big, and like you said, we're not going to be able to do everything. But let's try to get creative and let's start talking about what we want Boardman to look like over the next 20 years.
Yeah, I don't think we're trying to, we bring up ideas from other communities. We're not trying to be a Columbus or, be a Seattle, but I think we want to be the best Boardman that we can do, and bring some of those great ideas and the ones we like and apply them here. And that, we can do. But so I think make the version of Boardman that we want to see, but make that the best one that we can.
Very exciting.
A lot of good things going on. I guess I appreciate your watching us this evening, and look forward to seeing you next month. Krista, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
On behalf of Larry Moliterno, Brad Calhoun, and myself, Tom Costello, thank you, and we'll see you in a month.